Oh, okay. There we go. Fixed it. I'm doing good. Ready to get trolled by some children. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Are you over 18, Lenny? You don't sound over 18. Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is. Why I always have issues. Let me see. Hello, 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 hello. Okay. Let me see if. Oh, how did my mic get muted? Well, first I said sorry, Fox Lady. I don't know why my mic got muted. Do you go live in the morning? I feel like you go live occasionally, but I'm still asleep. And you asked if it was TikTok Studio. No, I don't think it's the TikTok Studio that needs to be updated. It's just me. It's my setup is very confusing. There's a lot of different channels, and if I feed something into the wrong channel and forget to update it, then when I go live, it's just me. I need to just get in the habit of managing my audio channels so they don't get crossed. Um, sometimes I go live and the people on YouTube can't hear the people on TikTok. It's frustrating, but I think I simplified it, so hopefully it's okay now. This is probably a child. You have to be over 18. And now I can't kick them unless they're gone. Wait a minute. Are you over 18? Okay, you're not over 18. No, I'm good. No thanks, Jimmy. I'll pass. What was that study, Fox Lady, that like maybe it was Persona. Where's Persona? Something about them measuring like men's erection during hunting. And they get like they've found studies that these men be getting aroused, which is fucking weird. Uh, it's a little bit concerning. He's out with friends. What? I thought we were friends. If you keep it up, Jimmy, I will have to just ban you just because you're being, I don't know, ridiculous. You can easily come up, have a genuine conversation, but if you're just going to be childish, I'll probably just kick you. Heading out for a couple. Damn it. Damn it, Persona. I guess we'll get some music going. Well, first, what's up, Live with Plants? I gotta use your tag. Okay, so we got for a couple. Damn it. YouTube side is up. Switch accounts. How are you? I almost slipped. How are you, Live with Plants? Excuse me. Hunting is not necessary. Not necessary at all. Think you have COVID? What is this? 2021? I'm just kidding. How'd you get that? Don't you like not work with anybody directly at least? Was it maybe from your kids? Uh, that could be happening. Um, let me make this box bigger because I always be ignoring YouTube chat. Okay, okay. I've wicked sinus headache. Oh man, that stinks. It's so hard to tell now. I remember can I say COVID? Who knows? I remember when COVID first hit. Wait, what is this? One of the things they were telling people to test was if you take a really deep breath, since it essentially affects your like lung capacity. If you take like a really really deep breath and you can't hold it for more than 30 seconds or probably less than that, then you could have COVID. But that's so outdated. That's like when COVID was still like first hitting New York City that they were doing that. Oh, you did travel? That stinks. Let me know if the audio from this music is too loud. I don't think it should be, because I made some changes to stuff. It should be really low. So anyways, we'll just have some music going. Hey, Fox Lady, I meant to ask you, have you seen that person? I think his name was Gravel. You and Persona talked to them, and he seemed to really connect with the... Whoopsie, is this too loud? With the idea, obviously, of veganism. And then he watched the documentary, he came back, you guys had a conversation with him, you hooked him up with Challenge 22, he said he signed up. And then I haven't seen him in like a week and a half. I'm kind of wondering what happened to him. Damn. Can't hear the music. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. My dad would be disappointed in me right now. I'm supposed to be the computer nerd. Browser. No, that's not working. Is it evil to cut my lawn? Are you serious? What do you think? You held your breath for 35 seconds? You're COVID free. You don't have COVID. You're good. So you haven't spoken to him? What a bummer. Maybe I should send him a DM. I've been like sending him like the women's live and other people's lives. Like I always will go through the list and send it to people. And I send it to him to see if he'd like come back. But you know, maybe he's just been disconnected from TikTok for a little bit. Can't hear the music. It makes no sense. Oh, this is... Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe this is why. This? Okay, now it's probably coming through. Maybe a really, really, really low. I'm sorry if I... This is why I need my alt account, so I can just check for myself to make sure that I don't blow people's ears out. Excuse me. Let me see. How do I switch accounts? Oh, there we go. It's good? Okay. Why does the top say... As your short comes up on my TikTok. Why does it say eat a hot dog on live? Because I will. I'll eat a hot dog on my live. You heard the audio? That's the first video that played when I pulled up my TikTok on my alt account. At 10,000 followers, I will eat a hot dog on live. Oh, I thought somebody was talking to me in Spanish on my on the YouTube side. That's the wrong thing. Because steak is delicious. It doesn't even answer the prompt. It's like you're so programmed to just regurgitate the same thing you say every day that you didn't even read the prompt and shape your comment to address the prompt. You just like, because steak is delicious. Doesn't even answer the prompt. If then they will be extinct. If then what? You're not making sense. Does it say anything about why do you eat animals? What's on the screen? Am I blind? I'm sorry, I live with plants. What's on the screen? Maybe I don't know how to read. I didn't realize on the screen it says no excuse. Oh wait, no, it says, I'm sorry. It says, why do you eat animals? You're talking about the intro to the live? Oh, maybe I should change that. Let me see. How do I check that on TikTok Studio? I can't read. The non-vegans got me. Fucking bastards. Oh yeah, I don't get enough nutrition. You hit the nail on the head with that one. You got me. No nutrition. My brain. I need B12. I can't even read your sentences. I'm so malnourished. Oh, this is probably a child. Nico. Are you okay with me calling you Nico? Oh, he's... What is that? Live with plants. You mentioned that the condition of like, what it's called, not liking mouth noises, because I just cannot stand mouth noises. I forget what it's called. I don't even know how to change the intro, if I'm being honest. Excuse me. Where is it? Yeah, I don't know. That's my YouTube people. Maybe I should take a page out of Persona's book and play some music to deter the children. Get them out. Misophonia? Am I saying that correctly? I just see the first 4 letters and I think miso. Miso soup. You eat animals because I chose to and won't force others to do it. I respect your choice. There's a few things with that statement. Zwigi is you are forcing it on others. You're forcing your belief to consume them on them, right? You're saying, hey, I want to eat you, so I'm gonna eat you when I don't have to. You can eat something else. That's the problem. There's a victim at the end of your choice. There's not a victim at the end of my choice, right? So not the same thing. Let me block this person because they keep requesting up when they're obviously just trying to troll, not have a genuine conversation. Goodbye. Oh, I see Lydia's live now too. I hate like being live when other vegans are live because I don't know. I don't like to separate the viewership, but at the same time, I don't know. I find myself being more consistent if I just go live when I say I'm gonna go live. So, will Jesus pay for what? What the hell are you talking about? They're just talking about coffee. What the hell? Disgusting. It would make my ears bleed. They unalive thousands of rabbits and mice to farm. What is your point? In a veganic world, we would not do that. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world, right? We're vegans living in a non-vegan world. Yeah, do you know what Dominion means? Can you tell me what Dominion means? No, that's not abuse. Abuse would imply that you're doing it in directly and unnecessarily, right? So like if I get overrun by a bunch of mice in my home, right? And they're shitting all over the place and they're carrying disease and I have to protect my family, that's not abuse, right? So it's not the same. We have to eat crops to survive. We have to eat something, right? And if some animals, unfortunately, are indirectly harmed in the protection of our crops, that's just an unfortunate thing that we can't avoid right now. But the more that people care, the more we would make the alternatives for avoiding the unaliving of animals during crop production, right? But again, we don't live in that world. Nobody cares. We don't take the necessary steps to avoid it. We just do it. And that's why we have things like vertical farming and hydroponics, aeroponics, all that stuff coming out now because people do care. So yes. I don't even know. I'm not sure, Flight Bro, if you're arguing with somebody else or with what I just said, but what your statement is saying is exactly the same thing as I just said. Sometimes we do have to protect ourselves, and sometimes we do have to protect our food, and that's part of that part is necessary for our survival. Yeah, okay. Eating animals is not necessary. So no, I would not be pro hunting because you don't need to hunt. You choose to hunt. You can just eat something else. You can go to the grocery store like everybody else. We all have grocery stores. You're all here on TikTok. You have internet. I'm assuming you live within reasonable radius of a grocery store. What happened to the person that was claiming Dominion? Where does this chat go? No recalls on game meat? What is the point that you're trying to prove? Don't understand that. I mean, the game meat that you are talking about, they sometimes carry disease, right? So you gotta you're like just saying something. You know, you're not speaking on the fact if it's right or wrong, moral or immoral. You don't think that consuming animals is abuse? You think it's natural. There are a lot of things that happen naturally in the world, but you think that taking a gun and firing a bullet at a deer is natural. I'm not sure how that's natural. Natural would imply like the way that a bird can naturally fly, the way that it has talons to grab its prey. A lion has sharp teeth and claws to hunt its prey. Like those things are natural. Natural would imply like you bare hands in the woods, nothing, right? Like with your own body. Anything beyond that is more of a signifier of your intelligence, not natural. If you spam, you're gonna get blocked. If you come in and you just do the occasional meat emoji, that doesn't bother me. But if you spam, so then I can't read people's chat, read the chat messages and engage, you will get blocked or muted. So yeah. People in Siberia can't run to the local. We're not talking about people in Siberia. We're talking to you. Here you are. You know, you, the individual. I'm not talking to the people that need to do it out of necessity because of their, uh, restrictions or lack of, um, like a functioning society, right? I'm not talking about that. Talking to people that are on here on TikTok that have the ability to go to the grocery store, which means it's not a necessity. You don't hunt anymore. That's good. But I feel like that comes with a caveat, and you're about to tell me what that is. So if you don't hunt anymore, do you still consume animals? You believe hunting under certain conditions isn't wrong. What conditions? What conditions does that have to be? Please do not say that the animal's going to be unalived at some point anyway, and there's other predators. And this is just something that a lot of people that are pro hunting go down that road. So I hope that's not where we're going. Do I allow? Wait, you're responding to somebody else. I don't even know what you're trying to say. It's weird. Why do you trap them? The mice were here first. I don't even know what I can't keep up with these. Yeah, I'm taking guests. Nobody has requested up. Only 2 kids so far. But if you want to come up, you're always welcome to come up. Sometimes it helps encourage other people to, like, non-vegans to come up also when there's like a little bit of a conversation going back and forth. So I'm always welcomed to having vegans up. Knowing that the animal used to be alive makes it taste better. That's weird. Like the obsession of like, oh, this was a living being. Yum, 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 yum. That's concerning, don't you think? I don't harm animals, but yet the act of eating meat is supported abuse, right? Yeah, of course. Is harming an animal unnecessarily considered abuse, right? It's like the fundamental foundation around the argument. What is abuse? Abuse would be harming someone unnecessarily against their I don't know, violating their autonomy to just being left alone. That would be abuse. I would rather you not unalive an animal for any of those reasons. Both of them are not necessary, and one is sadistic. So they're both wrong. What the heck is FAJA? What if the animal is in excruciating pain and you put it out of its misery and then eat it? I don't know, man. That's your personal choice. You're not really violating anybody's rights at that point. Like if you wanted to if your dog was passing away and was in excruciating pain and you euthanized them, and then you decided to take them home and eat them, I mean, bro, that's on you. I don't have a problem with that. It's still kind of weird, but you're not violating anybody's right to life. They can't suffer. They're unalive, but it's definitely bizarre. It's a bizarre thing to do in any circumstance. Have I seen Goldmember? Oh, such a long time ago. I have not seen a Austin Powers movie in ages. There's a difference between... What's the difference? What is the difference? Like the person even specifically said if the animal was in pain and I put it, out of its misery. So that would even be more of a reason to not be so connected because they're just not alive anymore. But even at that point, Flight Bro, you're saying you have an issue with eating a dog versus eating a pig or a cow, like one that had been unalived through, I don't know, euthanasia or from, I don't know, suffering. It's weird. How many bugs or vermin do you unalive to eat a guilt-free diet? Well, what you're talking about is like indirect harm. Like we have to protect our crops to some degree, right? We have to survive. But eating animals directly is not only contributing to the same uh, deaths that you're referencing, but also the animal's life itself. So you're responsible for more. It's not about being guilt. It's not guilted. It's not about being perfect. We have to survive. So crop deaths, unfortunately, in this current time period, is unavoidable because we're vegans living in a non-vegan world. But as more people care and make the necessary changes to the way that we harvest crops, that would go away. So yeah, that's why we have hydroponics and vertical farming and stuff like that. What's up, vegan knowledge? You, I'm doing good. You finished your errands? Oh, no worries. Um, yeah. Hopefully you don't lose power. Yeah. I'm gonna pull up this person only because they are asking questions in the chat that are legitimate. So hopefully they're over 18. What's up? Are you over 18? Okay. What year were you born? Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I guess do you want to start the conversation with your last question? No, because you have to understand that these animals they've grown to such large sizes that they don't mate naturally. Like the majority of animals are artificially inseminated. Chickens, turkeys, cows. So the idea that these animals would overpopulate would is just not realistic. They don't have the capacity to mate on their own. Obviously, they might occasionally here and there, but the population is growing at such an accelerated rate through artificial insemination and to meet up with the demand as our population grows. So as we stop eating them, we would stop artificially inseminating them, and their population would slowly over time decrease. As that population decreases, we would have more room for land, more land available to us, not only from the land that we would free from reducing the animal population, but also freeing up the land of crop land that we use for feed for the animal agriculture industry. So it's a win-win either way. I'm sorry. Can Gabby, can you take this over? I gotta fix audio issues because we're not going through to YouTube, and want to make sure that they can hear this conversation. Do you mind taking over? Are you available? If not, I can continue. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's just one case that you are seeing because on the big picture, the big industry, they have to control everything in order that they can produce what they need to feed humans, and that doesn't resume the whole industry. Yeah, of course, you will see farms that where animals are being naturally made, and yeah, of course, but that's not that can be maybe the 10%, the 5% of it. But the issue here is the artificial insemination is at the beginning is just to start is horrific. It's just a violation, and it causes more problems to the environment, and it harms animals. So I get that you see that one farm, but you have to look the bigger picture here. Have you seen documentaries about dairy?
Come again, you cut out for a second.
Have you seen documentaries about dairy?
I have not watched documentaries about dairy.
Yeah. And have you seen documentaries about at all slaughterhouses, veganism, or anything? No.
I don't watch a lot of documentaries. I don't watch a lot of TV at all.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's great. Fortunately, we have some good resources, so you can see like the bigger picture here. Because it is a big problem, and maybe if you watch them, you will have more, let's say, awareness on what it's really happening. So, are you willing to give it a try?
Am I willing to give what a try, ma'am?
The documentaries.
Possibly, but I do want to say while we've been talking, I've been doing a little bit of research and just looking online. According to the National Institute of Health, uh, only about dairy cattle is predominantly artificial insemination, but less than 5% of beef cattle producers use artificial insemination.
No, that can be true. That's why I'm saying to you that you have to watch some documentaries in order to just understand what's really happening. I have one really amazing on YouTube. It's called Dominion. It's 2 hours long, but if you can handle, you can watch at least 40 minutes. And also you can watch Dairy is Scary. I think that one is on Netflix. I don't recall right now, but it just tell you everything about the meat industry.
So, could I read you one excerpt from the Mississippi State University Extension Service, real quick?
Sorry.
Could I read you an excerpt from an article from the Mississippi State University Extension Service, which is one of the leading agricultural researching facilities in the nation?
Hey Keith. Sorry. Wait. Hey Keith. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Do you want to take over? Sorry.
I just joined, so I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think
scroll, but
I'm just got back as well. So you guys were talking about that. You're trying to say, guess that you don't dispute the fact that there is artificial insemination happening, but the majority of bulls that you've encountered, or I guess practices you've encountered, that they mate naturally, right? We're still talking about that.
Well, even yes, practices I've seen, but like I said, I have an excerpt from an article here published in 2023 from the Mississippi State University Extension Center, which is one of the leading agricultural research facilities in the nation. That says other contradictory to your claim.
Yeah, go ahead and
yeah,
read it.
it depends on the animal in the particular industry. Like the beef industry, artificial insemination is low. It's probably like 5 to 15%. If we're talking about dairy industry, it's closer to like 70 to 85%. So it depends on which area of the industry we're talking about. If we're talking about chicken farming, I mean, it's damn near 99%, because chickens, especially broiler chickens, have grown so large that they really cannot impregnate one another effectively anymore. Same with turkeys.
I will agree with you there. All the research I've done has shown both chicken and pork undeniably high, like 90+%.
Yeah.
This article I have here says, open quote, currently only about 6% of all U.S. beef cattle producers and about 50% of all U.S. dairy cattle producers use artificial insemination and or estrus synchronization in their herds.
Yeah, I mean the main point too ultimately is like I mean like yeah, adding artificial insemination to the list just makes things worse. Like not doing that doesn't fix the issue of exploitation. It also doesn't even fix the problem that even if it's not artificial insemination, and in most cases still it's still some form of orchestrated pregnancy. Some amount of putting animals in a certain situation to facilitate, if you're not doing it yourself, to facilitate coercing them into that, into that state of breeding with one another, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the artificial insemination thing is more of a welfare argument. Veganism is more of an abolitionist standpoint, so it's not even really it's interesting to go into the conversation on that sometimes about artificial insemination, but it's not really like a hinge point to be or not be vegan.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, ultimately we're just after the general statement of like, yeah, use and commodification of sentient life where it's not needed, or more I guess straightforward the definition. We're trying to avoid the exploitation and use of animals, and avoiding their rights violations as far as is practicable and possible to do. I think that's within the direct definition of veganism.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I would say, pretty much what Keith summed up. It's not about welfareism; it's about exploitation and abolishing exploitation. So if population, for whatever instance, did become an issue, we could look into methods to address that, but it doesn't always have to come to the unaliving of these animals or seeing them as a resource for us to use for our gain, whether it be pleasure or food or taste. So, if that was an issue, we could just seek other alternatives that wouldn't involve taking their lives from them, right? So,
I mean, if we were trying to control population of these farm animals that are within our our control, because like the vegan standpoint especially is not to just like randomly open the gates and just let them flood into the wild. I mean, that would be is just insanely irresponsible. So yeah, as long as we are still the ones tending to them, because that's really probably the only way we are going to be able to do anything on either side. There might be maybe some construed ways where conservationists could do very, very, very careful, like wild reintroduction of some of these animals, but that would have to be very closely monitored. But otherwise, yeah, they're going to still be within our care, and it would just be about reducing numbers steadily over time with, reducing pregnancies. And we don't even need to do like a mass fertility, sort of like like contraceptives or sterilization or anything like that. I mean, we just do what we already do, which is just keep the males away from the females as is needed.
Yeah. I'll make one last claim, and then I'm going to head out. I'll let someone else come up. And just circling back to the artificial insemination. According to the Merrick Veterinary Manual, most commercial chicken production systems in the USA has not found it necessary to implement artificial insemination programs because natural mating results in the adequate fertility levels. But it is used occasionally for special breeding work and research purposes. This other article I have from the Poultry Punch in 2019 says that only about 25% of the chicken industry uses artificial insemination.
Sorry, where are you, like, where's this coming from? Because yeah, like nearly 100% of I can maybe see that for like small scale breeding production and whatnot, but for like the industrial agriculture, which constitutes the vast majority of the meat and egg production, it's nearly 100%.
I'm I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm just saying the sources I have in front of me, which is the Merrick Veterinary Manual and the Poultry Punch, which is one of the leading chicken publications in the nation, say otherwise.
Right. Yeah, and we would have sources to the contrary as well. It's I can understand where there would be one source saying that, but yeah, I would have to look at that source and then see what they're maybe specifically saying about maybe some sector. Like, what's the source?
Uh, the Merrick Veterinary Manual.
Veterinary manual. That's it.
Yes, sir. It's MERCK vetmanual.com.
Sorry, say those letters again.
MERCK vetmanual.com.
Okay.
Well, like I said, I got some other responsibilities to get to. I'm going to head on out. I'll let someone else come up. I'm sure I'll come across y'all again on a future day.
Okay.
Y'all have a good one now.
Yep. Have a good one.
Yep. Thank you for coming up. Well, you could pull that up and we can address it after he leaves anyway. Because you were trying to just draw the distinction between like broiler industry and then like just layer and breeding industry as a whole, right? Or I mean, you're more of the statistics person than I am, so I appreciate you coming up and having that conversation with him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at whatever this happens to be. I'm not too sure of this source.
If you're using animals' cell phone and computer, you're responsible for animal death. I don't think you understand veganism, mythoclast. We don't use animals. So that's the difference. We live in a world, as vegans, we live in a non-vegan world, so we don't have the option to just not use a cell phone, right? Like I need to communicate with my job. I need to have a phone in case there's an emergency, if my kid needs to get picked up from school, if something happens in my family, like, and even some jobs require you to have a phone. So yeah, I'm using a computer. I have a computer because I need a computer. I got to pay my bills. I need to access the internet. I need to access documents for a variety of things, sign documents, stay in contact with my family members. I need it for work. Like it's not. What are you trying to say? No, I just don't think you understand veganism. Like there are things that we need to survive. There are things that we need to function in society. If I wanted to live computer and cell phone free, I could do that. But that would also change the environment, I guess, of my entire life. I wouldn't be able to get a job that would require me to have a cell phone or require me to have a computer. It's not about perfection. Eventually, there are phones that are looking into alternatives. All these byproducts that exist in technology exist because of we have so much of them in abundance, because we have so much leftover uh, um, byproduct from animals and animal agriculture that we find ways to use them in products like that. So as we abolish the need or use of animals in animal agriculture, then we would find alternatives, and we see that happening already. There are vegan phones out there. So
Yeah, I mean, we have um, certain larger companies that are like making promises to improve on that, and we have, companies that exist now like Fairphone. And then even on the side of like just computers, like there's like a modular computer company called Framework that is basically doing the same kind of stuff as Fairphone, trying to make their stuff more sustainable, use little to no animal products at all. So, yeah, I mean, if we're talking about technology, like there's all kinds of things coming out, and yeah, the big thing that comes into play here is like, again, veganism is about what is practicable and possible. Like, it's not really practicable within our current modern age to just completely divulge away from all electronics completely. Yeah, you can maybe like recognize where it's completely meaningless and stupid and flippant to own a particular electronic, I guess. But yeah, it's just a silly thing to say like, oh yeah, just avoid all electronics. It's the electronic isn't the main thing pushing the animal products that may exist within those electronics. The thing pushing those animal products to be in the electronic is the animal agriculture industry as a whole, and the main driver of that is people consuming their flesh and secretions. So the more we reduce that, the more there will be pressure and weight on electronic companies to make the shifts that we see with companies again like Framework or Fairphone, who are trying to push away from those kinds of products in their products.
Yep, well said. And now that we have more options, the next time that uh, for whatever reason, if I need to get a new phone, I would look into those alternatives and purchase and support those. So let's see. Sarah has been asking to come up, almost begging.
Hey guys.
How's it going, Sarah? Are you over
Good.
18? Just for TikTok purposes?
I am 49.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be 50. Oh my
50
gosh.
years young.
Yeah, thank you for that. That makes me feel better actually.
Yeah, I don't.
So, I wanted to come up here and give you guys some tips, and I hope that you're willing to hear them, because I've been on both sides of the fence here.
Are
I grew up
you
in Idaho.
are you well, just
I'm
to clarify, are you vegan now?
No, I am not.
Oh.
The reason why I'm coming up is because I can see what you guys are trying to do, but you're doing it wrong.
How are we
Can I
doing
tell
it
you?
wrong?
Can I give you a tip that will actually really help if you care?
Well, I mean this in the most I mean this in the
And
most
I'm
mean this
trying
in the
to
most
really help you.
hold on. I mean this in the most respectful way. Please enlighten me how a non-vegan can tell a vegan how to do their activism
Okay,
better.
so I have worked the animal industry most of my life. I'm from Idaho. I worked with a zoo manager here. I was promoted to be a zoo manager. Then I worked in dairy health. I've worked with WSU Veterinarian School. I have worked in the dairy health industry in the past. I quit because of how horrible it got. I believe his name, Butch Otter over in Idaho. He was a governor here and he passed an ag gag bill. Have you guys heard of that?
No, I have
Yes,
not.
we know what ag gag is.
Yeah.
Okay. So ag gag basically got me fired. I worked in dairy health in the 90s before we were injecting cows to produce more milk. And I'm sure being in the field that you're in, you have seen what happens when you inject these cows with these steroids and everything else to make them produce more, correct?
Yeah, we're aware, but this is like kind of centering into like a welfare argument. Is this something to do with like trying to improve conditions, or are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Well, what I'm trying to do is I kind of entered a avenue that you guys are in. And I had written 8 bills and had to pass them into law in the state of Idaho concerning animal exhibition. And it took me 8 years because the state of Idaho, it never dawned on me, and the social science of the whole aspect is that Idaho will never see an animal as a living, breathing being with emotion, feelings, fear, etc. And that was what I was basically fighting the whole fight on, was the Welfare Act and the Emotional Act. When I noticed that they were not listening to me because of those aspects and they look at animals just as a number, that's when I came in and basically started talking about how they were managing things and letting things being managed in the state. So if you didn't live in city limits, you could own anything you wanted in the state of Idaho before my bills passed. You could have a tiger, a lion, a gorilla, Joe Exotic it up, and nobody would do anything. Even if the animal was sick and dying and you were not getting them medical care, the USDA could not do anything. That is the main person you're going to be calling is the USDA vet when it comes to animal exhibition or dairy health. So when I realized that they weren't going to listen to me about the emotional aspect or violating animals, I realized that they were going to listen to me when I made sure that they understood if they kept on letting things go the way that they were, that it would endanger the public. And a lot of things that I have noticed from animal rights groups is that they do not ever touch on that fact. And that's why they're not being heard. Like the stuff that we're injecting our animals with to make them produce more are creating mental health issues within the human community. Cancer is on the rise. We have all of these new diseases that are coming around that are becoming more frequent: autism, fibromyalgia, mental health disorders that have never been heard of, like DOD, all the stuff within kids. And if you guys were to start touching on the scientific health aspect of how it's endangering the human community and raising awareness in that way, then the government's going to start looking at this. Well, these guys are starting to raise awareness on the science aspect. Therefore, we're going to start get more cases of people that will sue us for selling them food that is poison. So I was working in Idaho in the dairy health industry when they started injecting cows, and they were getting so large that their legs would break.
Yeah, so
They
we do discuss these things, but
Okay,
we're focused on the morals, the ethics. That is what veganism is about. It is not about
understandable, but
it's not,
unfortunately,
no, real quick. So I will go into those topics when people bring them up, when they're discussing, because our focus, again, we want to get them to make a connection to the morals, to the ethics, because if we make a connection to the health, they'll go, oh, so you're saying if I find, a pig or a cow or a chicken breeder or whatever who does this without injections and hormones, now it's okay for me to consume them. If that was our core
that's
argument,
that's the thing is that farmers, the big farming industries, will not be successful as they are now. Numbers will dwindle dangerously down if they are not injecting these animals. It will cost them more
I'm
money.
aware, but that's again the problem. Like we would tell this individual because like we're a grassroots movement. We're starting with smaller
Yeah,
numbers and we're talking to individuals. Those kinds of options will be available to those individuals. So if we hyper fixate on doing lives about injections and things like that into these animals and the health complications that are potential from that in humans thereafter, that yeah, if we do an argument about health and welfare, essentially, that's going to just convince those particular individuals that we speak to on the small scale in these conversations to go, oh, okay, I will go find my friend who has backyard chickens. I will go find my friend who has a small farm who doesn't do this. I'll go to the farmer's market and talk to pig ranchers or cattle ranchers or whoever that don't do this, and I'll just buy from them. That doesn't resolve the issue that we are after. We want people to again make the ethical connection. We're happy to go into those topics when they have if that's like a stopping point for them, right? So
yeah.
if they go, okay, so I don't care about the this that, and then well, one reasons I choose to not be vegan is like I think it's super healthy for me to consume this, and then we do have conversations regarding the health if like that's their sticking point. That's certainly something that we have talked about many times on our lives is like health aspects when they get stuck on those. But yeah, we don't make it the core argument, if you will, because that's not the core
Okay,
argument of
so
veganism.
just what I wanted to say was when I have had shush, that's my daughter being hyper, sorry. She's trying to be, you
You're good.
know. So basically, if you go to European countries, they are not doing this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We speak to a lot of people from European countries. We speak to people, commonly in the UK. We speak to people all over other, side countries within Europe and whatnot, and just other countries in general. So that's the other reason we keep it focused on ethics as the core argument. And then, if needed within the conversation, like we tactfully approach things as they make sense. So if someone is like on a hinge point where their concern is like, yeah, I get the ethics, but I just do this because it's healthy for me, and then we would counter that with arguments as to why it would not be, and like, yeah, we can certainly go into like the potentiality of those injections and whatnot, and how that could be harmful for them in the long run. But yeah, I mean,
Well, I was
these
just
are
letting you guys know from my standpoint and how I shot down roadside zoo industry throughout the state of Idaho. And then we went to Washington, D.C. and passed bills to where people cannot breed big cats for personal ownership or or show them to the public without USDA ownership or insurance. And we had to do it from that direction and able to in order to be able to shut that down. So right now, because of the work that we did, you guys aren't going to be seeing any more Joe Exotics. You're not going to be seeing any more Carol Baskins, because we went and we nailed it in the butt by using that argument and making sure that different government sectors that didn't regulate those zoos understood that they were putting the public in danger by not regulating these places.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's still merit in other people like doing those things and pushing for laws and this, that, and the other. Like, we still obviously like, because like within like the overarching like sentiment of the vegan community, because yeah, we have obviously like the core argument is the ethics, but we have people who have their hyper focus is the health, their hyper focus is the environment, and then
Yeah.
they put efforts and strides into those particular things. So we definitely have individuals within the vegan movement that are, like, yeah, again, like hyper fixated on those things. Like we have people making documentaries about the health aspects, about like a plant-based diet versus not, and the kinds of health implications of consuming, especially overconsumption of animal products and whatnot. But
Understandable.
yeah.
I've got to get going, but thank you for having me come up. I'll definitely follow your page and check you guys out some more. As in me being vegan, I am going to be transitioning this spring and summer because my health has been affected by animal products and the products that they inject into animals.
Yeah.
One
Take a-
last thing, if you guys happen to notice one of the last animal circuses coming into your town and you do not want them there, please go to your local USDA veterinarian and ask them to check elephants' TB testing. If they have not been tested for tuberculosis, that's how you get them kicked out and the whole show shut down.
Right. Fair enough. But yeah, as, for your, the goals of the spring/summer, take a screenshot here of the resource there near the bottom, Challenge 22. If you go to challenge22.com there, it's a free help and resource essentially for basically just aiding people who want to like transition to a plant-based diet, transition to veganism. So that would be a potentially helpful thing for you there when you try that.
Well, I appreciate that. You guys have a good one.
You too. Bye.
You're so much nicer than me. I mean, I was gonna try to come at it from a respectful standpoint, but yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it's you have to. It's kind of like with other things, it's somewhat meeting people where they're at and getting them to kind of also recognize, again, like the core arguments of what we're standing against. And I think she seemed to understand, like she maybe still has like her own imperative of what she thinks is like the best way to do something. And I mean, everyone's opinionated. It's unavoidable. It's inescapable. Someone's going to have some, like, we're obviously opinionated,
Mm-hmm.
like, to an extent. Um, so it's not like necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
I would err on the side of caution of just like, yeah, coming up and being like, you're doing this completely wrong. We definitely know how we want to approach and do this because, yeah, for us, the ethics and the morals is the main consideration. It's what we want to focus on.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, yeah, if we got, let's say this, what she was proposing worked so well that it got to the point of reducing the amount of, let's say, the carrying capacity in the United States right now with injections and whatnot she was talking about for farming, was just for simple, it was like 1 billion animals. Like, we could carry 1 billion animals in the United States for farming purposes. And then if some law passed to remove injections, it took the carrying capacity from that to, I don't know, 600 million. So like a 40% reduction. If we had like a huge sizable reduction like that, almost half, yeah, that would obviously impact like pricing, making it less likely for people to pick out these products in the store. It would affect the total amount of supply, so just higher likelihood to go to the store and not see what they were wanting to pick out. So like, yeah, these things do like help and affect things like that. That was again where I like point out like, yeah, we have vegan documentaries and advocates that are focused on the environment or health, and they push for these kinds of things that she's talking about that still occurs within our community. But those people within our community also still at the same time recognize the work that we're doing, at the same time, and the importance of discussing the morals and ethics. Because, yeah, as soon as someone, comes out with a way to resolve the issue, like, basically be able to do what injections were doing without using those injections, then suddenly you could take that supply from 600 million back up to a billion, and the problem's right back to where it started from. So that's the importance of making sure we still drive home the ethics ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you handled it very well. Um, I hope that she makes the connection. Maybe she'll watch the documentary and realize that, exactly as you said, we're not for welfareism. We're for abolishment. And
Yeah.
just because you treat them nice and don't inject them with stuff doesn't justify that they're here for us to commodify and use. So yeah, thank you for handling that because I was, ready to go down that road. Tell me how to be a better vegan, please.
I could feel a tinge of grumbling in your voice. I was like, I'm gonna talk to this, I'm gonna talk to this person.
I don't think this person's here. They're just spinning.
My boy's spinning. Big eye.
Yeah, I mean, like what she did is great. If she's reducing, the availability or like the access of these exotic zoos and
Yeah.
circuses, like, yeah, that's great work. But you're still consuming animals.
Yeah, I mean, she at least, it was kind of like a sentiment of, I'm doing this now. I plan on, like, like as much as I want to grumble and be like, yeah, you should make that shift now. Like, I'm somewhat more okay, at least with someone who has like a set plan in mind. Like, I want to do this, and here's how I'm going to achieve it, and it requires a certain timeline. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, I get it, but maybe if you can check out Challenge 22, maybe it'll go faster. So.
Yeah, like she just needed, like she obviously cares to some capacity, so she probably just needed a little bit more information and a little bit of push, a little bit more understanding of putting herself in the position of the animals and seeing like, oh, you're against the treatment of them. Do you think that treating them a little bit better and still taking their life is okay? So hopefully she took a picture of the documentaries, and when she tries to transition.
I mean, the conversation just, I mean, if she's still listening, like how I would have approached that conversation if I was her is, maybe come in like, hey guys, I'm not vegan yet. I plan on going vegan really soon, just to like get that lay work of like, she's kind of I'm here with you. I understand. I'm trying to make strides for this, first of all. Second of all, I just wanted to like bring up a point that I think would be very helpful in your discussions when, especially when someone brings up health or welfare or conditions, maybe talking about things like inject, and then yeah, she could have gone into her whole discussion about what she went over there, and that would have been a completely different kind of setup for the conversation, and wouldn't have had either of us be like, it would have been a little bit more, yeah, just I don't know, easy to transition that conversation, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe us vegans need to get together and raid like a fur boycotting live or something, or anything in regards to animal cruelty, and then say, hey, I don't want
doing it
to
wrong.
I don't want to tell you you're doing it wrong, but are you still eating animals? Because you should, and maybe maybe get people like that, I mean, not to be a troll, but maybe engaging with people that are like somewhat there and helping them realize things a little bit more would get them to
Yeah, I
go.
mean, people that are like closer to the edge of some semblance of caring about animals. Like we've got people like Mip in the comments who's like proud that she killed 100 chickens yesterday. Probably little to no hope for her, but someone who is like, yeah, I rescued 7 dogs yesterday. That individual has a bit more hope. So
Yeah. What's up, Saren? You're at work again?
No, I'm off work today, but I'm running some errands. I'm like going shopping and I had to deposit some checks earlier. So
Are you
I'm just hanging around.
are you driving a car?
I'm in an Uber.
Oh, that's not vegan. Not at all. You should have walked to the
yeah,
store.
Ubers aren't vegan.
You got shopping bags. You're supposed to just carry everything with your hands because
You're
plastic isn't
supposed
vegan.
to get a sled and just pull everything um, manually just through the streets.
If you're from where Desi's from, then you do that's just normal transportation. You just sled everywhere.
Everyone's on skis, got cross country skis and a sled, pulling their groceries from place to place. Maybe ice skates if it's cold enough. That's something I really want to do because like I like ice skating. I used to rollerblade a lot as a kid, and I like ice skating, but I hate going to ice skate rinks because they're so small. I like just kind of hate. I want to go fast, and I hate just like constantly. It's like a NASCAR track. I'm like constantly taking either a left or a right turn, and it just kind of eventually like wears on like one ankle or the other, doing that over and over. I really want to go to like a big open frozen lake and ice skate there one of these days.
That's true. That'd be pretty cool. It is a little inconvenient when you go to like an ice skating rink, especially by me. Like when we have a big mall here that has an indoor, like year-round indoor ice skating rink, and that place is always crowded. That you have to kind of navigate around a bunch of people that are learning
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
like I'm afraid I'm gonna just run into somebody or like someone's kid, especially just like it'd be terrible. So
Yeah, I haven't been snowboarding or anything in years since I was a kid. I used to rollerblade a lot too as a kid. I did like rollerblading and skateboarding, and me and my friends were pretty big into both of them. Um, like skating
yeah,
in New York City was a lot of fun, but I'm too old now.
I do need to go snowboarding. It's been a little while. Um, I think yeah, it's been 2 years, 2 full years now since I went snowboarding. I mean, I used to go all the time. I didn't do it at all last year because I kind of like tore my LDL ligament in my knee, when I fell down during a hike. Um, it's still like it's better now, but like yeah, it was like just like a one of those kinds of tears that kind of stays with you a little bit. Um, so I'm a little bit on like the cautious side of like almost like I don't want to spend like 150 because tickets are so expensive now to go snowboarding or skiing. So I don't want to like spend an insane amount of money, get up there, do like a couple runs, and be like, oh, my knee.
Damn, that stinks. Luckily, nothing like that has happened to me. At least, I haven't broken
Yeah.
anything. I haven't twisted anything. Though there are times where I'll be at the gym and I'll lift up something and I'm not 25 anymore, so I twist a little bit the wrong way and I feel like one of my spinal discs pop and I'm like, oh God, is this it? Am I done for? But
My leg.
yeah, my leg, oh my leg. I should get that
Sound clip.
soundboard. Yeah. Saren, where do you don't have to give what state, but are you West Coast, East Coast, North, South?
Southern.
Oh,
He lives up
Southern.
in the clouds. He's not north, south, east, or west. He's up.
You went so far south, you hit the clouds. Nice. Southern, okay. Huh.
Yeah, Southern with a twang, in the Baptist region, the Bible Belt, you could say.
Golly.
Florida. No, just kidding. Oh, okay. You don't do no skateboarding, no snowboarding, no video games.
I am not good at skateboarding. I've tried it before, and I just could not. I should have put more time and effort into it, but I'm hopeless in that realm.
I mean, I'm terrible at like regular, just like if we were to like say like skateboarding with like the purpose of doing tricks or anything in that realm. I can longboard and go fast. I used to do that a lot, but now I'm like, yeah, probably if I keep doing this, I will probably die. So I should just not. So, yeah, if I want to go fast on a board, it's pretty much snowboarding or nothing at this point. Rather fall in fluffy snow than onto hard asphalt.
I've never been snowboarding or skiing, so I would like to try those things, but you know,
Much more forgiving.
that makes
I'm tempted to make the change to go to skiing, away from snowboarding, just because snowboarding's kind of a hassle in terms of like just managing, runs and your time on the mountain. Like it's one thing if like, yeah, if you're someone who goes snowboarding and like you're like going to the terrain park and you like doing tricks with snowboards, but if you're like me and that's like your goal is to go to the mountain and just go fast and do as many runs as you can, skiing is just so much more efficient for that, and less painful. So I've been contemplating making that swap. I did like I the only reason I'm not a skier is like when I was a kid, I was like 5 years old and um I went skiing and got lessons, but they gave me a boot that was like like four sizes too big, and I ended up like twisting my ankle inside of the boot, trying to go like do my turns and stuff. So I was obviously an upset little kid and didn't want to continue that sport. And then later on with like X Games and things like that, I was like, oh, snowboarding, I want to do that. But yeah, then at this point, I want to go and make the swap back just because I think it would be, I don't know, ultimately more fun.
You gotta stop getting hurt. You're making us look bad.
I yeah, my 5-year-old self.
Well, he wasn't a vegan when he
Yeah,
got hurt, so it's
yeah,
just making the
exactly.
carnage look bad.
Exactly.
I don't
There you
know,
go.
man. These people, they say some insane stuff. They might say it. They might make the connection.
The
Somehow,
reason
you were
you're a weak,
always vegan. You always breaking your body parts, your
yeah, the
weak
reason you're a weak
bones.
vegan now is because he broke your bones earlier. God damn it.
Yeah, there's the mall by me also has like a huge, I forget what it's called, big something. They also have like a giant hill with some bunny hills
Oh,
and
it's got like an indoor snowboarding thing?
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I haven't been to
Does
it
it
yet.
have actual snow or is it fake snow?
I don't know. What would be fake snow? No idea.
I mean, like where it's like those, it's like that surface that's like plastic. It's made of some kind of plastic versus like real snow, meaning like they take, water, freeze it, and then spray that all over the ground.
I think it's fake snow because every time I see people in there, they're dressed, for the for the cold. So if it was fake snow, I would assume it wouldn't be cold.
I mean, they might just be simulating the temperature, but yeah.
Yeah, they have it. They have it there. I mean, it's like 10 minutes away from me, but I don't know. We've never really invested in going, but it seems always pretty busy. Seems like it would be a lot of fun. My girlfriend's a little bit of a. She's scared. She's delicate, so I don't think she would be down for snowboarding. But yeah, one of these years we will probably go.
It's the most forgiving. Like if you go on the right day, where it's just enough snow to not get like stuck in it, but not so little that it hurts when you fall, then I mean it's fine.
Yeah. Where's all the non-vegans?
They're too busy being non-vegan.
Oh, I got the veg frosted. What is it? Frosted cinnamon swirl. I'm gonna give that a
I tried
try
that one on
tomorrow.
my left. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Well, I'm assuming it's better than the cold brew, like off the bat. So, because cold brew
How
is
dare you?
nasty.
How dare you?
Nasty. It's for nasty people. Nasty. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. Should be pretty good. It looks good. Yeah, I'm tired of getting protein powder that's like you look at the back and it's like okay, 25 grams, not bad, not bad. It's a big bag, and then it's like oh, it's 2 scoops. But luckily the veg is 1 scoop.
Yeah. No, it's and it's also one of the best mixing uh, options around. Like I notice with a lot of different protein powders I've used in the past, where if I just like want something super basic and simple, just water and then add the protein powder. I notice it kind of like so many of them, it sucks trying to mix them. With that one, I can like almost with just like a fork and swirling it around. That's almost enough to like completely dissolve it, almost perfectly. Um, and it's not like super, I don't know, like chalky or whatever. So, but I mean, I normally do just like add my protein powders uh, to smoothies. So, um, hard to normally run into that problem.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to give it a shot. I didn't even I haven't taken creatine in like ages, and I was like, oh, let me get back on some creatine, and it says obviously to drink it with like hot something hot, and I'm like whatever, fuck it, like I'll just put it in my smoothies and it's cold smoothie. But there are a couple times where I forget to add my creatine, so I'll drink it like later at night. And we have like a water dispenser, and I would just put cold water and drink it. I'm like, man, this is tough. Like it's so gritty and nasty. It doesn't dissolve as much as I shake it, and I never realized that like how useful actually putting it in hot water is. Because now I just like put like a splash of hot water over my creatine, and it just like instantly
Who's telling you that
dissolves.
you have to put it in like a hot drink?
Well, I don't know. The it's pure. What is it? I forget what it's called, but it's pure like synthetic creatine. And on the back
Well,
it
is it
says to mix.
monohydrate?
I'm sorry.
Is it monohydrate?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe in like a warm, like it might dissolve like a little bit faster. But like doing that doesn't impact like the performance or the muscle uptake. Uh, all that needs to happen is, yeah, you want the creatine to essentially like fully dissolve and mix into the liquid. Um, so yeah, like whether you put it in a smoothie and blend it all up, or you put it in water and you just, even if it's cold, ice cold water, if you let it sit long enough to fully dissolve. Either way, as long as that's happening, it'll be okay. Shouldn't have any impact at all.
Yeah, I was just pouring it like late at night before I go to bed. I forgot to take my creatine. I'm like, oh shit, let me drink it before I go. And if I don't use hot water, it'll just, to drink it like instantly, it just does not dissolve, and it would just be nasty. But yeah, I've just been like pouring hot water, and it's been dissolving instantly, and then I'll pour cold water after to kind of warm it out. But man, there was the documentary that you mentioned us to watch.
Yeah.
I think I saw it from that documentary. There was a chart, and this person, Gary Oak, just made me think about it. I need to find that graph of where it shows all the possible deficiencies you can have on a plant-based diet, and all the deficiencies you could have on a meat-based diet, and that you can have equal amount but still less on a vegan diet or plant-based diet. I need to find that graph for when people say things like that. Because I think people just Google the first, vegans deficient in, and they just see that list and they're like, yeah, see, I told you you're deficient in that. But if I Google meat eater deficient in, I could find a larger list.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, that's the point. It's always like this odd fallacy. I can't remember what the fallacy would be, but it's like, like this has deficiencies. Like every single diet type can have deficiencies. The whole point is to have a well-planned diet. As long as you have a well-planned diet, you should be fine, because a well-planned diet entails that you're accounting for what things you could possibly be deficient in under that diet and accounting for them. So it's always just such a silly point to me.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. I've tried explaining that to I forgot who I was talking to about that before. It probably was just another non-vegan. That like both well planned, I'm sure you could be equally efficient and not deficient in any nutrients. So it just takes proper planning. And so what if you maybe had to take a small supplement? Big deal. Maybe. Would that be an inconvenience to you to save an animal's life just because you need to take a pill? Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like there's nobody really coming in. It's quiet. I probably should get back to work anyway. Sometimes I'm on here for way too long, and then I get a ping from my boss. Hey, like we need this done. I'm like, oh shit, I need to get back to work.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna make some food and then do a little work and then check to see if anything else going on. But yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, thanks for coming up and having that conversation with that Sarah person and the first guest. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. All right,
if you could, if you know the graph I'm talking about and you know where to find that about the deficiencies, if you could post that in the Discord, and then if you found out anything from what the first guest was saying, like I know it was just one thing, like it doesn't seem like a valid source to say that. What was it he was saying that the majority of chickens don't
I was
get?
looking there. There's some validity to it. It looks like probably more. Gosh, what was it? I had it pulled up. It was basically the sentiment was essentially that commercial meat broiler is that AI is not widely used in standard broiler production. Just because of the sheer volume of chickens involved. That makes sense to me. There's so many. But AI plays a more significant role in layer breeding programs, particular for breeding stock. So companies that produce the parent stock of egg-laying hens use AI very commonly. Same with breeder flocks for poultry meat and whatnot. Turkeys are definitely still very commonly, just all across the board, are commonly AI'd. This is where it gets a little convoluted. It's like almost like kind of down to the particular situation that the chicken is in. Maybe like a a bit of a rule of thumb is it's similar to what we see with beef versus dairy, and I guess broiler chickens versus egg-laying chickens. You could say that the prevalence of AI in the female cows and the female chickens that are either producing dairy or producing eggs, the amount of AI used is significantly more. And then if it's just for meat production, whether it's beef or for uh, use in broiler chickens, then yeah, it's lesser. It still happens in both of those, but yeah, it's not to the same extent as the essentially the females producing either eggs or dairy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think when he was mentioning that, I was reading the same thing, but whatever. Good to know because I feel like sometimes people just try to bring in information and then he just kind of left. And definitely knowing more about this specific source and study is just good to know. So we're like prepared to
Yeah, I
have that
mean, I
conversation.
always want to provide like accurate information. So, yeah, if what I had previously looked into before is wrong, like I'm always happy to admit those things and make that update to my own information going forward. Like, you know, uh, common. It's a common mistake I see all the time, like regarding say like B12. Like people are like, oh, like all animals are injected with B12, and it's like, well, mostly it's not injections, first of all. Second of all, the only ones that are commonly getting a dietary blend of B12 in their feed is monogastric animals, whereas the ruminant animals, whether it's cows or goats or what have you, is much lower. They only give them B12 if they are dangerously low. But assuming the cow is getting enough cobalt in their diet from grasses and things like this, just grazing or consumption of other products, then they'll be fine in terms of their production of B12. Like we like as humans, for example, we produce B12. It actually does happen androgynously within us, but it happens at the very end
Hmm.
as things are leaving our body. So unless we were to consume that the excrement, you're not going to get your produced B12 back in you. Whereas it's different for ruminants, um, because I think it's in the third stage of their gut system, is where the B12 production happens, where they're using the cobalt within their diet to make that, um, uh, or essentially that bacteria is there to produce that B12,
Hmm.
and then it's able to be absorbed in their final stage, their final hindgut. So like yeah, that's just all kinds of things like where like before like I didn't know that, and I was telling people like yeah, all these animals are fed B12 or injected with B12, and I think it's important for everyone to recognize when you're wrong about something and just correct that, because all these points that we make about this kind of stuff, I mean, they're just welfare arguments. They're not even that important, anyways, to the overall argument. So
Hmm.
there shouldn't be an issue with you understanding these things and being better. And other things like quoting, things like nutritional yeast as a natural form of B12. Well, nutritional yeast doesn't have B12. We fortify it with it. So it's the same thing. Like, there's no issue with taking a B12 supplement. There's no issue taking B12 in a fortified form where it's essentially been supplemented into that food. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
want people to definitely recognize when you had a stat wrong and just correct it, because overall we still have, no matter what, we'll still have the correct information in terms of not needing to exploit animals.
Yeah.
But it's important to still recognize when we're wrong and make those corrections.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned it like that. I'm glad you said it, like you put it in that way, because um, I think when I came into the TikTok space of wanting to be an activist, I already know like no, this is just wrong. Like we can just argue about the ethics of why it's wrong, but it ends up turning into I have to be educated on the welfare part because these are the talking points that people want to start at, and in order for me to even get them to make the acknowledgement that it's wrong ethically, I still have to engage in the welfare conversations. So that's why I always
Yeah.
appreciate this information, because I don't know that much about it. Like I don't know all the statistics. I've kind of shut that part out and just focused on the ethics. And I'm like, well, I need to know more. I need to remind myself and refresh myself on the welfare arguments, because this is what people want to focus on. So yeah, it's funny you
Yeah.
put it that way, because it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and to Sarah's point, like yeah, exactly. Like we're all like there's so much info that just exists in just everywhere. And things are constantly changing too. Like we'll get certain information that comes forward that expresses like this particular thing is now considered like not healthy, or now it's super healthy depending on like the context, or this thing is good for the environment or it's terrible, or there's all kinds of things that are related to I guess like health or the environment or other things that can definitely change. The one thing that remains stagnant is essentially the ethics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, I guess on that, yeah, I should probably get back to work. But no, I appreciate you coming up and sharing that, because it's definitely makes me I don't know, feel better about doing advocacy sometimes, because I know I don't know all the statistics. And like that first guy that came up and was like, "Oh, that's not true. I have this study." I'm like, "Oh shit, well, I don't know if that's a good source. I don't know if where you're getting that from is creditable or not." So yeah, I was looking to learn from my fellow vegans.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, Keith. Well, I'll see you later. I'll probably be around
Yep.
in the other people's lives.
Yeah, that sounds good. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna end the live. Ansgu, I see you all the time, bro. Maybe another time we can engage in a conversation. But I'm gonna go. I gotta get back to work. Got some stuff to do. Um, but yeah, thanks everybody for coming by. Sarah, Anna, Alec, Keith, Saren, Brenda, Live with Plants. Who else? I think that's it. There's probably were more. Martin, Louis on the YouTube side, Dracolombe. I can still not gonna be able to say that. But thanks, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.